Do you understand that your mouth, your voice, your words are connected to the coils in his heart, to the valves in his heart? He can't help but love you. And every time you dishonor that love, you chip a piece of him, chip a piece of him. This is why in our culture as black people, when the boys turn a certain age, the men come and get him and take him away from the mother because she can emotionally manipulate him. But since we don't live in our culture no more, we say what we want to say, do what we want to say. We tear our men down and then wonder why they don't make good husbands and fathers. Mothers destroy sons. His mother can speak to him in certain ways that destroy him in ways that can never be repaired.
Every time I watch that clip, when I tell you I get chills. It honestly reminded me of this post that Tashina Arnold made in 2022, where she posed the question, what can we as black women in America do to stop aiding in the emasculation of black men in America? And how Miss Ayana described it, we don't realize the power of the tongue. We have the power to tear down or build up our men. The scriptures say that a wise woman buildeth up her house, but a foolish woman tears it down. And every time we talk down to our men, every time we curse them out, we disrespect them, we call them out their name, we aid in the emasculation of them. Our men are literally already at the bottom of the bottom today. They literally have to go out every day and fight blood, sweat, and tears with the world. They shouldn't have to go home and fight part 2 with their wives. One way we can stop doing this is by controlling that mouth. Stop talking down to him. Stop nagging him. If you upset, take a minute to catch your breath and relax. Because it doesn't just affect that man. Let's say you have children by that man. His children are also going to be affected by that. His son and his son. Like, it goes down the generations. And I don't care how beautiful you are or think you are, your fineness will never overrule your disrespect.
Shalom, shalom. Kalalayam la alahai nawa. Yahweh Bashme Washai. Bashemeka Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the 144,000, the brothers and sisters that preaching, teaching, learning this truth, and doing their best to, hold on to it, hold on to this faith, right? As you all can see the title by this video, you already know the type of lesson it's gonna be, right? Because the video shown in the beginning as well, that video was so much, very much on point. Right now, I only grabbed a couple of precepts here because I literally just saw that video there. Haven't too long came home from work and I saw that video as I was scrolling through TikTok. And I said, hey, let me see if I can do a quick lesson on it. So Lord will through the Spirit, the Lord will bring out more precepts, right? But let's start here in this one, as the girl in the video made mention of, right? And I have seen that girl in TikToks before, like she makes these little short clips like such as what you saw, or in reference, and just watch the time. So it's 1:44. But yeah, so she have done little short clips before, like demonstrations of how basically a woman should be treating her husband, right? Now she's a member of the IUIC, unfortunately, but Lord willing, he takes her and her husband, out of that camp, if they're really sincere about this truth and whatnot, which me personally, what I saw through her videos, she seemed like a very sincere sister, so, but anyways, right, the scripture that she quoted was this one here in Proverbs 14 and verse 1. Right, it says, every wise woman buildeth a house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. Right, and as she was talking about in the video, right, her as well as the video itself that she was playing for us, with the elderly lady, teaching the younger woman that, hey, you basically emasculating the so-called black man, which is by what, mainly their mouth, right? Because we know that is the most that is these nigger women main, weapon, their mouth, right? They say a lot of things, they do a lot of things, yes, but they say a lot of things that is so much out of character that they themselves don't even care how they feel or how anybody else feel around them, who they speaking to or whatever it is, and that's the crazy part about it, because as the scripture says here, a wise woman built her house. What is a wise woman? Right? A woman with understanding, and a woman with understanding, she would know what the scripture says and how she supposed to act her role, right? So therefore she wouldn't be bucking up against her husband and always going against him and disobeying him, disrespecting him and all these things. She will know, hey, this is my husband, this is the one that the Lord set above me, so I have to take heed to him. This is the thing. But a lot of women will watch that as, they can't get to do what they want to do and all these sort of things. And that's why the scripture saying Jeremiah 17:4, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked, right? Because what they want to do is what their flesh craving, right? Which goes back to the heart, which is just wickedness. Do you understand? Because the scripture don't already talk about, the women being the weaker vessel. Now, you want to, cling to your flesh rather than the understanding and the faith and trust that you're supposed to have in your husband, especially if he's a man of the Lord, right? You're tossing that out of the window when it comes to you wanting to do what you want to do. And that is you being foolish and tearing your house down. Because when it is you disobey your husband and disrespect your husband, right, that is the start of the tearing down of your own household. Because as she made mention in the video, right, I believe it's this video, because I feel like I saw another video with something pertaining to this, but basically he don't wanna, a man don't wanna come home, to have a deal. I believe it's the same video itself, right? He don't wanna have to come home to deal with he don't wanna have to come home to deal with another war at home after he facing the world. That is madness, right? And a lot of these females out here very masculine, right? Because doing these things is a masculine trait, like going head to head. A woman is supposed to clash with her husband. She's supposed to reverence her husband, as the scripture says, right? Because I actually have Sirach, which one it is? Yeah, this one here. You'll be jumping through verses, just to get the ones for this specific topic, right? So let's see what it has here. I'm reading out Sirach 25. I also want to dabble a little bit in Sirach 26, because these two chapters are talking about wives, So let's see here. In verse 8, it says how well is him that dwelleth with a wife of understanding, right? And I love how that goes into that, because we just read, a wise woman, built up her house, right? So of course, well is the man that dwelleth with her, right? Because his life became easier, because the woman being more of a help unto him rather than, a pain in his ass, right? Because what is the point of having a wife if it is all she's giving you is just stress? You understand? And for the most part, that is mainly a lot of these women out here, not the sisters I'm speaking of, but like, all of us have our days where we go off because of this flesh, but for the most part, it's like 98 or 99.9% of that population, right, out of the women, is wicked. That little one, that little 0.01, is the few righteous sisters in this truth, and he wants to come in, That's to tell you, right? So let me see here. We're going down, right, verse 13, right? It says, give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. Right? That's why the scripture says, give not thy strength unto a woman, because in this society, that's all they're gonna do. Bring you down, bring you down, bring you down. Right? And for the pettiest shit, like the video that the elder monitor Zakba did a while back with this wicked fucking woman, right? Deleted this guy game, his account that was worth almost, that was worth 400,000 US, 400,000 US. You understand? Because why? He don't wanna. He so-called he plays games too much. Like, my thing is, you was gonna go with a gamer. What do you expect him to do, right? Not to mention that's how we make his living. He was making money off of that because apparently he did streams and whatnot, right? And you delete all of that. Now, how the hell he supposed to take care of when you just made his life a whole lot harder? Now he dumb if he don't break up with her, but like, she didn't. Like, a lot of women just go mainly off of their emotions, right? This is why also the Lord set the man above you, right? Because I can't, like, I'm pretty sure even the women in the truth, right, who are single right now, and holding it out, right? I bet you it'd be so hard, and tempting as well to give in to the world, right? At most time, because we brothers feel it all the time. These demons be attacking, and the scripture says, the woman is a weaker vessel. So of course they're feeling it tenfold, right? But with our husband there, it's like he also there to give you support and spiritual comfort. Whenever you're feeling weak in his spirit, he could be there to say, hey babe, don't worry yourself. Don't forget not to do this, don't forget to do that, and you will feel comforted in the spirit because you might read your scripture or two and just hearing it from him, knowing that you're not going through it alone, you're going through it with him, it will give you that strength that you need, right? But this woman deleted the guy account, and as the elder rightfully says, some people just watch it as a game, but that's fucking wicked, boy. That's wicked, because I've been thinking about my game, right? Like, I don't play game as much anymore, but when I just came into the truth, going backwards to when I was in the world, right? I used to play game a lot and spend money on the game, right? A game that I really enjoyed, right? But I lost the account now, and it didn't really hurt me that much because I know that the Lord did it, for me to put more effort and time into this word, right? So I didn't let it bother me. But just knowing that I still felt, some sort of pain with it, and then thinking about it under the circumstances that guy went through with his female, like me picturing if my wife did that to me, bro, I would trip the fuck off. Especially if that is your way of making money, right? To pay for the stuff that you have, and these type of things, and she come with her petty ass and did something like that. That is something to trip off on, because she watching it as it's just a game, right? And I'm not getting any attention, right? But that's the man living, the man doing something he love, making him money. If that was gonna be a problem, you should have never go with him, right? But then again, she probably was there for the money, right? But now you deleted the money, so what's gonna happen now, right? As I said before, if you're not stupid enough to get rid of her, she's still gonna leave him in the end, because why? Eventually she's gonna say, hey, he don't have enough money to support me. You understand? And this is the thing, right? This is why women need guidance, right? Because you're gonna do something like that and you don't think it through. They don't think it through. And then when they end up in hot water now, it's like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. But then even on top of that, their pride wouldn't even let them admit that they were wrong. So it even ties back in with what the woman was speaking about, right? With even it starts from their mother, right? When a son is growing up, it's supposed to be taken by the father to to be discipline right, grow up right, because I could speak for myself, because I grew up with a single parent, my mother, right? And I'm telling you, before I even hit high school, right, I was really, really soft. Like I used to cry a lot and all of these things because why? It's literally only females around me. It was my mother and two sisters, you know. It's only females was around me. So I was really soft. And when I came in secondary school, is more like a different feel. It's more men around, so of course you will see how certain men operate. You'll have your little, clique that you used to roll with, the boys as they would call it, you know. So eventually you'll learn a thing or two from them. But the real manliness where I learned it from is, of course, is this truth. When I came into this truth, as the scripture say, gird up your loins as a man, right? But when now for the men who not even in this truth, right? When they grow up that way and then coming to deal with a woman like that adding to that, breaking down men more and more and more and more, right? It becomes ridiculous, right? And as the woman rightfully say, women make the weak men, and emasculate the men, right? And then say they don't make good husbands or fathers, right? When it's you all raising them or teaching them the wrong thing from since they're small. Even the daughters, right? Seen women out here having their little daughters with braids in their hair, short pants, they don't even have a figure yet, right? Because they're young, right? And I talking about toddlers, babies itself, right? Some of them now growing up looking to hit primary school soon, or elementary school as they say in America, right? And they already in the style of wearing, short pants and, all these nonsense, right? Because why? Women are allowing it to do so. And then it have the same effeminate men, who grew up under that lifestyle, allowing it in their household. Because why? The nigger woman would back at him, or his mother grew him up that way to agree with the nigger woman, or both, and that is the thing here. So when let me read Sirach 26-25 again, Salakia for the rambling, right? 25 and 13, it says, give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. Because the plague of the heart, we know what, heartache basically, when they're feeling that pain. And then the wickedness of a woman, we know what that means, right? Because hey, it's wickedness all around with these women, right? It says, and any affliction but the affliction from them that hate me, and any revenge but the revenge of my enemies, right? Well, let's talk about the actual enemies. But hey, women can take part in this too, because hey, these women are your enemies, right? They are your enemies. Most of them don't even care about us, Now there's a part that she mentioned, actually I'll deal with that after. Let me do this one here concerning the sun, right? This is Sirach 36 and 1, right? The Spirit didn't even have me to go to Sirach 26. Who knows, probably might jump back to it, but rolling in the Spirit here, right? So Sirach 36 and 1, it says, he that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel a rod, right? Which is often, it said that he may have joy of him in the end, right? Why would he have joy of him in the end? Because hey, he raised his son, right? He teach him what we need to do. It says, he that chastiseth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Why a man teaching his son grieveth his enemy? Because why? He and his enemy won't be able to inveigle his son or try and overthrow your house. Anything that you're doing, whether it's a business or whatever it is, you don't have to worry about your son falling into the enemy trap. Because why? You growing him up to be diligent and just like you, understanding, right? So the enemy can't do anything about it, so the enemy would grieve, right? But his friends will rejoice. Because why? You grew your son up the right way. Verse 4 says, though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he had left one behind him that is like himself. right? And funny enough, I read the scripture before I started, and I just remembered that time I rewatched, Lion King, the animated version, right? I watched the movie already, but the animated version was more spiritual to me because, you know, that part where, you know, um, where Rafiki, the crazy monkey, right? Was he met Simba when he was an adult, right? And he showed him his father. And where did he show him his father? In the water, right? And he said, what? That's just his reflection. And he said, no, look harder, right? And then he saw what? He saw his father, right? He saw his father in him, right? So that's basically what the scripture means, right? When it means he's not dead, because why? He living on in his son, because the father grew up his son to be just like him. You understand? Just like Yahushai, earthly father, Joseph, right? Joseph was a carpenter. So Yahushai turned out to be a carpenter as well, because why? Joseph taught him, right? So that's how it goes, and that's what that scripture means. Verse 5 says, while he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him, and when he died, he was not sorrowful, right? He left behind an avenger against his enemies, and one that shall requite kindness to his friends, right? So that part where he say he left him an avenger against his enemies, because why? He built them up strong, right? But when you leave a man, right, or a son in the hands of a woman, what's gonna happen? A woman can't teach a man first to begin, and then she herself don't even know the first thing to be a man. So how could she even teach her son what is supposed to naturally be taught by a man himself? So think about it. These is the things we have to pay attention to, but that specific part that I just said is mainly for, the elect, and the well, I was gonna say the people in the truth, but of course, Lord willing, the brothers who are in the truth right now, the sincere ones, they get where I'm coming from, and I hope it is them, right? So I starting to get a little sleepy, so my eye kind of drifting, right? So let me see how fast I can wrap this up, right? It says, verse 7, he that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds, and his bowels will be troubled at every cry. And horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be wilful. Cocker thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he will bring thee heaviness. Laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him, lest thou gnash thy teeth in the end. Right? So basically what those three verses are saying is basically answered here in verse 11. It says, give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his follies. Right? But when the scripture, for instance, says, laugh not with him, lest he have the sorrow. Right? Lest he have sorrow. Meaning to say, you have your good days and your bad days, you will laugh at things, but then it are the days where you have to beat his ass, because why? He needs to learn. You understand? So you can't share the good times alone with all the bad times. Right? Verse 12, it says, bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee, and so bring sorrow to thine heart. Right? Chastise thy son, and hold him to labor, lest his lewd behavior be an offense unto thee. Yeah. So this is why the man needs to be in the house, in order to teach his son. Right? And then also too, when the father teaches his son, his trade and whatnot, and the son take it on, he could advance it, or learn other things as well, as to how, he already learned that one trade from his father, to further his knowledge and actually, make a living for himself. right? But when these women making these weak ass men come out in the world here, you know, running and chasing behind women and all this sort of nonsense, right? What do you think gonna happen, right? So I wanted to read this precept because she made mention of it. Well, not the scripture specifically, but what she said was, I can't remember what she said. Oh, she said, we as the black men, so-called black men, to the bottom of the bottom of the bottom, which is actually true, you know. And these scorpions ain't helping, right? Well, let me just read Proverbs 22:7. It said the rich, no, oh gosh, I don't remember I had this precept, but that what I was quoting was it actually was Ecclesiastes 10:7. It says, I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon horses. Right? So all the people we supposed to be serving, they're sitting on their high horse. They they run the show or whatever it is. And then they have us, the suckers, to, pick up after their mess. Right? So this is Proverbs 22:6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Yeah? That's the thing. When the father grew up his child here is to teach him, all that he know. So that when it is he come, like let's say he come home or whatever it is, and the father meet him doing what it is he do, what he told him to do, or helping the son, helping out the father in some type of way to ease up his work. All these things is what help. And then again, as the son learn all these traits, right, he gonna what? He gonna be able to thrive. So when he get his wife and his family, now he able to take care of them, with the skills he obtained, right? But again, how could the man do that if it is, you're being raised by women, But what can you do, right? So I just wanted to bring back up the ordinances again, well, this saying the subtitle saying Christian order, which was Israelite order. But anyways, I'm gonna just jump straight to the point. Actually, let me read from verse 2. It says, now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances as I deliver them to you. But I would have you know that the it say, but I would have you know that the head of every man is the Hamashiach, or the Mashiach. It says, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of a Mashiach is the Most High. Right? So it's a order. Right? It's an order. If the man is said to be above you, you shouldn't even be in a seat where it is you have a say in major decisions, or any type of decision for that matter. Right? Especially when it's a group of men, talking, and then you just pop up, you want to hear what's saying, and that's disrespectful. That's actually disrespectful. But hey, it is what it is. I don't feel like I go anymore. Like, I literally feel in my eyes looking to fall asleep. So hey, I hope this lesson was edifying. To the next, say shalom.